Hello my dear friends, my name is Aayushi Bansal and welcome to my YouTube channel. So students, let's start the most awaited marathon revision series for your paper number 11 CMA Intermediate Group 2 paper 11 IDT. But before starting that marathon revision series, let's understand the marking scheme for your paper number 11 IDT, Indirect Taxation. So students, in our IDT subject, there are two parts. The institute has divided the subject into two parts. The first part is GST, that is goods and service tax, which come into examination for the 80 marks, that is 80% coverage is for the GST portion and balance 20% coverage is for the custom portion. That is 20 marks is leviable for the custom part. Okay. Now if we talk about that how much difficult is the subject of IDT, so as per me, IDT is one of the most interesting as well as the most scoring subject. The reason being, whenever we go to the market to shop anything, we always pay GST to the shopkeeper now. So we have a general idea that what is GST and how it works. Just we have to strong our concepts for the GST, and I can assure you students, if you study very well for your IDT part, you can easily score exemption in this paper. Okay, so let's start it. Now the next important thing, which material we are using for your marathon revision series. So students, here I am using the study material of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, so that everyone is able to refer the study material. But if you are referring any other material, so there is no requirement to change your material at this particular time, but examinations are very near. You can study from that, because basically in every book law has been covered. GST law, custom law has been covered. The only requirement, the only need is to understand that law. Okay, students. So let's start it. In our GST portion, there are the first chapter is of the introduction, that is the basic concepts of GST. Normally from this chapter, the question of 4 to 5 marks have come into examination, and this chapter is very easy. So I'm starting from this basic chapter only. Okay, let's start it. Yes, one another important thing, that how many chapters we are going to cover in this particular video. So students, I will say just complete this entire video, because there will be a completely marathon revision series. It will be in a part of part 6 to 7 of videos, and in the 8 to 9 part of videos, but I assure you that you will be able to revise your complete subject with me. Okay, let's start it. Now the very first chapter, as I have told you, is the basic concepts of GST. But before starting the basic concepts of GST, we are required to understand that what are taxes. So let's understand that what are taxes. Taxes are basically a fees which a common public has to pay to the government. Now, why the government is charging this fees from the common man? So now the reason is because students, ultimately they are charging this fees in the form of taxes from us, and they are spending it on us only. But in which form they are spending it on us? So have you taken the COVID vaccination, that is the Covaxin or Covishield? Yes. Do the government charge anything from you? No. So how they are able to do such big expenditures on the public? Because we are paying them taxes in the form of fees. Okay, so that's why they are incurring that, they are giving us benefits of that taxes only. Okay, the next example, whenever we go to the market, or even I can say, you have seen the roads in front of your houses. Have they ever charged any price for such roads? No, they only charge taxes from us in the form of income tax, in the form of GST, in the form of custom, in the form of toll tax and all. So these are basically their revenue which are paying, which they are ultimately spending on us. Okay, now in our CMA intermediate syllabus, there are two kind of taxes covered. First is direct tax, which is in the which is in the group number 1 CMA intermediate group 1, that is the direct taxes, which we normally known as income tax. And in group 2 we have our indirect taxes. Now, as I already told you, in indirect tax we are going to cover two portions, that is first of GST and second of custom. Now the next question that they might ask in the examination is, what is the basic difference between the direct tax and indirect tax? So students, for explaining the difference between the direct tax and indirect tax, I am taking the help of an example. Suppose there is a person, Mr. Chintamani. Yes, Mr. Chintamani is in our class right now, students. You all know about him, na? Yes. So now, Chintamani is earning an income of approximately 5,50,000 rupees. Yes, he has an income of 5,50,000. Now, only Chintamani has to pay tax on that income because that is the tax on income, which we known as income tax. So we can say that the person who is earning the income, only that person is required to pay the tax on income, on the part of their income. That's why this is known as direct tax. It means in the case of direct tax, the taxpayer is the same person who is earning the income. Okay, it means impact and incidence of tax are on the same person. But comparatively in indirect tax, whenever we go to the market, for example, suppose this Chintamani has go to the market to purchase a calculator because exams are coming now. So when that person, when Chintamani goes to the shopkeeper, he asks the shopkeeper how much is the price of this calculator. The shopkeeper said this is of 200 rupees plus 10% GST will be leviable. It means total there will be a price of 220 rupees. It means now what will happen? Chintamani will pay 220 rupees to the shopkeeper. Shopkeeper in return gives the calculator to the Chintamani, and then shopkeeper will give this 20 rupees to the government, because this is not the profit for the shopkeeper. This is a liability which has been incurred on that shopkeeper, because shopkeeper has to pay that amount to the government only. Okay. Now, who is the taxpayer in the eyes of the government? This shopkeeper. It means burden falls on the pocket of Chintamani, because Chintamani has paid that 20 rupees. But in the eyes of government, in the eyes of law, taxpayer is different person. It means in indirect taxes, impact and incidence are on the different person. That's why it is known as the indirect taxes. Now students, if you feel that my speed of speaking is little bit high because this is a marathon revision series, but still if you think that speed is little bit high, you can write in the comment section. I will take care of it in the next video, because ultimately I want that your concepts must be clear in that language, in that way, in that pitch which you want. Okay, now understand the difference between the direct taxes and the indirect taxes from the book. As I told you, impact and incidence are on the same person on the direct taxes, but in the indirect taxes, impact and incidence are on the different persons. It means the person who has paid the tax is not the person who has suffered the burden of the tax. Second is, direct taxes are based on income, but comparatively, indirect taxes are based on supply. It means whenever a person will make supply to the second person, the GST or the custom will accrue, otherwise not. Okay. Third is, students, in the case of direct taxes, rates of taxes are different from different person to person. How? Because students, in income tax, rates are according to the slab rates. Yes, there is a slab rates in income tax. It means a person who is incurring an earning of up to rupees 2,50,000, the tax rate shall be nil. But if that person is earning between, that is greater than rupees 2,50,000 but less than rupees or up to rupees 5 lakhs, so person has to pay 5% of income of that person. Now, as we can clearly see, the tax rates are different from person to person, because if a person is incurring low income, a person has to pay low taxes. But if a person is incurring high income, that person has to pay high rates of taxes. But comparatively to direct taxes, in indirect taxes, there is nothing like this. It means if I go to the market and purchase a calculator, the shopkeeper will charge me 10% for the GST for the calculator, just an example, that is 20 rupees. If Chintamani will go to the market, shopkeeper will charge you rupees 20 only. If you will go to the market, shopkeeper will also charge rupees 20 only. Okay. Students, in fact, just because of this criteria, the next difference we can say is that income tax is progressive in nature. Progressive means that if income is high, tax shall be also high. But comparatively to this, the direct taxes is progressive in nature, but comparatively to this, the indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Why they are regressive in nature? Because the tax rate for all the persons are same. Okay. Now students, the next point is, the entire revenue of the direct taxes goes to the central government of India, but in the indirect taxes there shall be CGST as well as SGST also. It means and it's a dual model GST. I told you in the regular class also, that GST is a dual model concept. It means the revenue source, revenue goes to the central government as well as to the state government in the form of CGST and SGST, yes, for sure. Now in the direct taxes, there are two concepts. It means previous year income will be assessed in the assessment year, but there is no such kind of previous year and assessment year in the case of indirect taxes. For indirect taxes, there is only a financial year or a tax period. Okay. Now, which is a part of Department of Revenue for the DT? CBDT, and which is for IDT? CBIC. Now here it is written that CBEC, but it is an outdated name. Now the updated name is CBIC. So in your examination, you have to write directly the CBIC. As I told you, direct tax is progressive in nature, but it is regressive in nature. Okay, friends. Now the next point is, now let's start is that what is the GST? Now in the marathon revision series, we will cover the most important parts of the every chapter. Okay, I am not saying that I will cover the 100% concepts. No, student. Like concepts like these, that IGST, what is IGST, what is CGST, what is SGST. I will tell you all. I will tell you all these concepts, but with the passage of time only. Okay. Yes. So now let's start. Now let's start at what is GST. Students, for explaining you the GST, I am taking the help of an example. With the help of that example, you will be able to cover what is GST, what are the advantages of GST, what are the limitations of the previous indirect tax regime and all. Okay. Now before starting this, let me tell you one thing. Students, as this concept is there, Constitution 101st Amendment Act 2016, there is nothing big like in this concept. So what you can do for these kind of concepts, if you want to complete the entire portion with me, you can do one thing. You can read these concepts. Now if you got any kind of query even in these concepts, these are very small concepts and very easy, which we have already covered in a very brief detail in the plus classes. But if you are getting any kind of query, whether you have taken the classes from me or not, that doesn't matter here. You can ask your queries in the comment section. Okay, and yes, in the last of this video I have a surprise for all of you, so just wait for it also. Okay, yeah, that surprise is also related to your examination for sure. Now, as I told you, I am taking the help of an example to explain you that what is GST. Okay, so now let's start with the help of an example. In our example, there are three parties. The first is manufacturer, the second is wholesaler, and the third person is retailer. Now, suppose, just assume that the manufacturer is selling a product of rupees 100 to wholesaler and charging rupees 10% as GST to that wholesaler. It means wholesaler is giving to the manufacturer 100 rupees as the cost of the product plus 10% GST. It means total 110 rupees. Now students, we all know that whenever we pay GST to any shopkeeper, to any person, that paid GST, it means the GST which we have paid on our inward supply, on our inputs, is known as ITC for us. So it means for wholesaler, there shall be a input tax credit of rupees 10. It means 10% of rupees 100, that is rupees 10 is ITC for the wholesaler. As it is the first stage supplier, so ITC for the manufacturer is nil. Now in the next case, wholesaler, for sure, suppose if you are a wholesaler, so you will take a product for rupees 100 and you will sell it to another person for rupees 100 only. No, this is not an NGO. Na? So obviously if we are a businessman, we will charge a profit, we will add a value on that product. Now I am assuming that this wholesaler is selling that product to retailer for rupees 120 rupees. Okay, it means now the retailer is paying to the wholesaler rupees 120 as the cost of the product, plus wholesaler has charged 10% GST. So it means total price is 132 rupees. It means for the retailer, the ITC is 10% of 120. It means 12 rupees. Yes, it's rupees 12. Now students, then there is also a next customer, that is we, final consumer. Now obviously this retailer will also add a value to the product, and this thing saying that I will sell this product to you for rupees 140. It means now the retailer will also charge the GST on that part, that is 10% of 140. So the person has paid to him 140 for this plus 14 rupees as GST. It means total 154 rupees. And here ITC for the final consumer is rupees 14. Okay. Now students, I am starting the advantages, the features, actually the features, not the advantages. I am starting with the features of the GST. You will be able to understand it all. Okay, I hope you understand this example. Yes. Now students, the very first part is GST is a value added tax. GST is a value added tax. Now how it is a value added tax? Just wait, I am telling you students. It is a value added tax. Now how it is a value added tax? Let's know about it. Students, just see it. The manufacturer has sold this product to the wholesaler for rupees 100. It means the total value added by manufacturer is rupees 100. So the person has charged 10% GST. It means 10% of 100, that is 10 rupees. Okay, that's all. But now when wholesaler, now what wholesaler is doing? Wholesaler has charged 10% of 120, that is 12 rupees. The retailer has given the person to the 12 rupees. Now yes. Now let's see what happening. Students, when the wholesaler has charged rupees 12 from retailer, the wholesaler will say to the government that I have an ITC. It means I have already paid to the manufacturer rupees 10 as GST. It means I have 10 rupees as ITC, so I will pay only rupees 2 to the government. Now what is happening here? How much value wholesaler has been added to the product? Rupees 20. That is 120 minus 100. Rupees 20. And how much GST is going to pay to the government? 10% of this 20 rupees. It will be verified for sure. 10% of this 20 rupees, that is rupees 2. It means it is a value added tax. Okay. Similarly, in the case of retailer and final consumer, you can check it. Retailer is selling this product to the final consumer for rupees, for how much rupees? For rupees 140. Now, how much value in the product they have been added? Rupees 20. Okay. Now let's verify as actually a GST is a value added tax or not. So now the retailer, the final consumer has given the GST of rupees 14 to the retailer. But retailer is saying to the government, I have already paid rupees 12 because I have an ITC, I have an input tax credit of rupees 12. So I am paying you only again rupees 2. That is 10% of this value added. It means it is a value added tax. Now students, as you have all seen that in every case there is a continuous supply of credit of taxes. It means on every stage the person has claiming, the person has deducting the ITC from it. Okay. Now let's move on to this. GST is a value added tax on sale or service or both. I have told you how. GST is a destination based consumption tax. Now how GST is a destination based consumption tax? So students, in the case of GST, there are two kind of supplies. The first is interstate supply and the second is intrastate supply. In case of interstate supply, the person has charged IGST, and in the case of intrastate supply, the person has charged, the supplier has charged CGST plus SGST or UTGST as the case may be. Now we will come on this point also, that how this UTGST will come or how CGST will come or how HGST will come for sure. But how a particular supply will be treated as interstate supply or a particular supply will be treated as intrastate supply? Students, if location of supplier and place of supply are in two different states or union territories, it will be known as interstate supply. But vice versa, if it is in the same state, it will be known as intrastate supply. So it means the GST part is dependent that which is the place of supply. That's why it is a destination based consumption tax. Okay, so it means we have to check that which is the state, which is the union territory in which the material is going to be consumed. Okay, as we seen in the example, GST offers comprehensive and continuous chain of ITC, that we can claim ITC on every stage. GST where burden borne by final consumer. Now what does it mean? Students, on every case, in every stage, whether it is a wholesaler, retailer or a manufacturer, everyone is going to take the ITC. It means they are only paying the balance part, the amount which they have already been paid, they are deducting it as an input tax credit. But the whole amount has ultimately paid by this consumer, because consumer has paid the total rupees 14. It means the GST, the final burden is on the consumer only. Okay, whenever we go to the market, we never take an ITC on it. So it means the final burden is borne by us only. Next is GST eliminate cascading effect of tax. Cascading effect of tax means in the previous taxation regime there was a double taxation system, but now there is no such double taxation system, because on every stage ITC is availed. GST brings uniform tax structure all over India. because students, now there is a concept one nation one tax only. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of GST? Yes, there is also an important feature of GST. Students, GST means a tax on goods or services or both. But GST never levy, GST does not levy on the alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Now you might be thinking, or now you might be starting to comment me, ma'am, on petroleum products also there shall be no GST. But students, on petroleum product, there is currently not any GST. It will be leviable in future when the GST Council recommend this proposal to the central government. It means in the features we can't write that, or in the feature if you want to write that, you have to write the complete. It means GST on that part will be leviable when the GST Council will recommend. Okay, but in the case of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, there shall be no GST. Yes. Now, what are the advantages? The very first advantage, one nation, one tax. That is a uniform tax structure all over India. It removed bundle of indirect taxes in the previous indirect taxation regime, that is before 1st July 2017. On 1st July 2017, what happens? GST has been inaugurated. Okay. Now, so before that, there shall be lot of taxes like VAT, CST, central sale tax, service tax, countervailing duty, special additional duty and all. But now there is only one tax, that is GST. When there was a system that there are a lot of taxes, there is a lot of complexity, because for every law we have to make separate records, we have to file separate returns. But now as all has been abolished, so there is very increased ease of doing business. And yes, because now it has removed the cascading effect of taxes, so it is very easy to do any business now. Next is, as it has removed the cascading effect of taxes, so the cost of production is low. Whenever the cost of production will get lower, demand is increased. Due to increase in demand, there shall be increase in supply, and hence ultimately there shall be lot of production, and our initiative will get accomplished. What we have an initiative, that is Make in India. Okay. Next, due to lower cost of production and due to very good quality, it will boost our export and manufacturing activity, which will generate more employment, and there will be more employment, the GDP will get improved. Okay. Next is one nation one tax. One nation one tax means, students, now GST will extend to whole of India, even including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. Next is how GST is a dual GST model. In fact, students, in a once upon a time in a CA final examination, this question has been covered, that how GST is a dual GST model. Okay, so understand it. Students, how it is a dual GST model? Because students, in this particular GST, taxes imposed concurrently by both the governments, that is the central as well as the state government. How? Because students, as I have told you, in the case of interstate supply, IGST shall be leviable, and IGST has been collected by the central government on interstate supply. But whenever there is an intrastate supply, CGST or SGST, CGST plus SGST or UTGST shall be leviable. SGST is collected by the state government, as it is a state GST, and CGST is collected by the which? Yes, central government. Okay, that's why it is a dual GST model. Now you might be confused that where UTGST shall be leviable. And yes, one very important thing. What is UTGST? Let's understand about it. Students, in our India, can you tell me how many union territories? Write it in the comment section. I want to know how many there are union territories in our India. Okay, so students, presently we have 8 union territories in our India. How many union territories in our India? 8, and there are 28 states. Now, I know there will be lots of comments, ma'am, there are 29 states, there are not any kind of 28 states. Now students, it has been amended and there have been 28 states in India, okay, and 8 union territories. Previously it has 29 states and 9 union territories, okay. 29 states and 7 union territories, but now it's 28 states and 8 union territories. Now, student, union territories are of two kinds. First, union territory which is having their legislature, that is union territory with legislature. And second, union territories which are without legislature. Now, those union territories which are with legislature, we consider them that it will become under the purview of SGST. Why? Because they are having their own legislature, so on that part CGST plus SGST shall be leviable. But in the case when when there is no legislature, that is union territories which are without any kind of legislation, so there shall be UT GST shall be leviable. Now, which are the union territories which are having their own legislature? So students, in this case there are 3 union territories which are having their own legislature, which are Delhi, Pondicherry, which is also known as Puducherry, and Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, Jammu and Kashmir is now a union territory with legislature. Okay, so rest of the union territories cover under the purview of UT without legislature. Okay, next is, what is GSTN? Yes, this question is repeated question, so very important. Student, GSTN is a company which actually provide a common and shared IT infrastructure for India in the purview of GST. It is a technology backbone for GST in India, because GSTN is managing, GST is a company, GSTN, it's not GSTN, it's GSTN, it means Goods and Service Tax Network. So it is a company which is managing the IT infrastructure of the GST part. Okay, so as we all know, GST is a destination based consumption tax, so all the concepts that is regarding the how we can apply for the registration under the GST, how we can file the returns, and all those procedures are handled by the GSTN. Okay, in fact students, even when the government, when the bank authorities, when the stakeholders, when the shareholders of any company, even when the RBI is using that GST website, GSTN is providing them a IT infrastructure. Yes. Next is, there are functions of GSTN, that what functions are performed with the GSTN. So let's understand about it, because as I've already told you, this is a repeated question in the examination. Creation of the common and shared IT infrastructure for functions facing taxpayers. Now, which functions they are providing to the taxpayer? Filing of registration application, because first of all we have to take admission in the school. It means we have to file for the application for the registration. Second, filing of returns. Third, whenever we are required to make tax payment, whenever we are required to make GST payment, we have to create a challan. So GSTN will help us. Settlement of IGST payment, it actually acts like a clearing house. Next is generation of business intelligence and analytics, because it creates so many reports for the authorities. Okay. Now student, the next is, even all the statutory functions, it means whenever we apply for the registration of an registration under GST, the authority will approve it. Authority will also approve it via help of the GSTN only. Okay. Students, this question is also repeated in the examination, that how GST, they have asked in the one examination that what is the guiding principle of GST. Okay, this question has not mentioned in the book, so let's understand about it. What is the guiding principle of GST? So students, the guiding principle of GST is to make a harmony between the center and states. Okay, so for that you have to elaborate that part. It means the one nation, one tax and all. Next question is GST Council. So students, do you know about our Indian Constitution? Yes. Which is the supreme law of India? Supreme Court. No, Supreme Court is not the supreme law of India. Supreme law of India is what? Yes, Indian Constitution. So Constitution of India is the supreme law of India. Supreme law, Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution. So students, in Indian Constitution there are different articles. There is an article 279A. 279A of Indian Constitution. It has empowered our President of India, to constitute GST Council. Now, what is the GST Council, students? GST Council is that council in which experts of finance fields are gathered together and they take decision. They actually take decision. They recommend to the central government that what notification should be published in the public for the smooth functioning of GST. Okay. Now, who are the members of the GST Council? So, student, chairperson. Now, I am using the word chairperson, not the chairman or not any other word. The reason being, either being a woman or a man, both can be a chairperson. In fact, now currently, who is the Union Finance Minister of India? Tell me. Yes, respected Nirmala Sitharaman ji. So we have to use the word chairperson. Okay. So who is a chairperson of this GST Council? Our Union Finance Minister shall be a chairperson of this council. Next is who are the members? So students, there is a Union Minister of State in charge of finance, which will be a member. The state finance minister, the state revenue minister will be a member, or any other minister which is nominated by the each state as their representative or as a member of the council. They shall be the member. Okay. Union Finance Minister shall always be the chairperson of the GST Council. Now, the GST Council will automatically with them, they will select with their voting as one person as a vice chairperson of council. Okay. Now, yes, I have talking about this question, that which is the what is the guiding principle of the GST Council. This has been repeated in the examination. Okay, so write it as very important. Now, next is what are the functions of the GST Council? So they are required to make recommendations to the central government and the state governments for taking the decision regarding tax rates, exemptions, threshold limits, various notifications, various rules, dispute resolution and all. Okay. Next part is important definitions under CGST law. What we will do in the marathon revision series is, I am not going to read one by one every definition. We have already covered it in our regular batch. So what we are doing here is, students, whenever there will be a definition which I think that we should repeat it, we will repeat it with the concept only. Okay, yes. As I told you, if you are doing self-study, you have not taken any classes, so students, you can do one thing, you can do this if you have time, and then you can ask me your queries. Okay. So with this, we have covered our chapter number 1 in approximately, I think, in 1 hour. Yes, actually I have not noticed the time. I think it will be a 1 hour. Now, ma'am, you have told us that there shall be a surprise in the end of the video. Yes, students, there is a surprise, and that surprise is waiting for you all. Actually, the surprise is, I have started for you all, students, previous year question series. Yes, it's previous year question series. Actually, students, it is a fact that only revision of a particular examination is not enough for the preparation of the examination, because if you are revising any subject, or as I told you these concepts, these concepts will be in your mind, but you never know now that what kind of questions will be put in the examination. I can tell you in the revision series only 1 to 2 questions. Yes, so you have to work you have to practice a lot of practice, previous year questions, mock test paper questions. And student, in fact, our Institute of Cost Accountants of India have introduced a bit question series, and there is an amazing fact that in the last examination there are a lot of questions which are directly covered from these questions. Yes, so we have to cover it all. How we will cover it all, students? Now, we will cover it in our free live special session. It's free live special session. Yes, so students, these questions will be conducted on my Unacademy. It means on the profile of my Unacademy. You can join me on Unacademy. My name is Aayushi Bansal. I am repeating it again. You can join me, students, there. On every alternate days, or even on every day, I am conducted in the June this previous year question series. Okay, and meanwhile, if you are watching these classes for a December attempt also, students, so till December we are going to take a lot of classes for the CMA intermediate. Those shall be the free live special session. What shall be the benefit of these live special sessions? First of all, students, if you have any query in these concepts or either in these questions, you can ask me, because that shall be a live session, so you will get a chance to interact with me. Second, students, we will cover lot of questions there, so you will be able to do practice with me, that too in a live session. Okay, timings I will inform you, students. What you can do is, this is my contact number, that is 7988741134. I am repeating it again, 7988741134. You can contact me on this number. I will share you with the links of these Unacademy sessions. This shall be completely free of cost, and it has already been started from the 2nd June, students. So just register it for hurry. For registration, what you are required to do, you are required to drop me a message so that I can share a link with you. And if you are already watching the classes on Unacademy, so what you can do is, you can search for my name there in the CMA Intermediate Group 2 category. My name is Aayushi Bansal. It's AAYUSHI BANSAL, Aayushi Bansal, and you can find out me there. Okay, thank you and have a nice day. And yes, if you like this video, so please, if you actually like the way of my teaching, so like this video, share it with your friends, and tell me in the comment section that how much you like it. And do not forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you and have a nice day.